Is one of two Republican candidates running to be Arizona's next governor. Andy Biggs has served in the Arizona State House and Senate and has been in Congress since 2017. He's with us tonight. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Mark. Thanks.
Before we talk anything about politics, I just wanted to say, father to father, how sorry I was to hear about your daughter.
Thank you very much.
I think all of us can't imagine that pain. So I am deeply and truly sorry to hear that.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, and it's been hard, but the grandkids, they're coming along. They're very young. They're adjusting, but and my daughter's husband is hanging in there as well, doing well. We appreciate the prayers and support that we've received.
Yeah, President Trump has endorsed both you and your presumptive opponent, Karen Taylor Robson.
Yes.
I've never heard of this happening before. So, as we get closer to the Republican primary, do you sort of wish, Mr. Biggs, that he would say, you know what, I'm going to throw my support just behind Andy, or just know where he stands?
Yeah, we had that discussion, Mark, as a matter of fact.
I'm sure you did.
So when he called me and said, I'm going to endorse you and I'm just going to do that dual thing, I'm like, okay. And he says, it seems to work out pretty well. And I said, I sure hope it does, But I would rather have a dual endorsement than not have his endorsement at all. I think that's important.
Let me ask you, you've been in Congress a long time, you know how it works, you finally get to that point like, oh, this is where I go, this is what I do, this is how the machine works. Why leave Congress and come home to run for governor?
Well, I think there's a couple reasons. First of all, I love the state. I miss the state. I think the state is going maybe perhaps the wrong direction at the top of the state, and I've got some issues with the current governor, who I served for a long time with in the state legislature. And on the other hand, one of the frustrations that we have, and I'm grateful that President Trump's there, but even with President Trump there and both the R's controlling the House and the Senate, we are so slow at getting the things done that I think need to turn the country around, that I want to come home and actually turn our state around, because I think if this country's going to be saved, it's going to be saved by the states.
And if I were to ask you as we sit here tonight, what is Arizona's most pressing need? What's the most important issue? You would say what?
I'd say that we have an economic problem that we've got to fix, make sure that people can't afford houses. We went from being in the top 5 job creation, we're now in 47th, so people need jobs. They need to make that living wage. They need to feel comfortable and feel safe in this state. And I think so generically, I look at that and I say, how do you get there? Because we want to improve the economy, we want to improve job opportunities. And the way you do it is we have to realize that we're competing now. So we need to reduce our tax rate even further, because we're competing against states that just eliminated their tax rate. We need to shrink our footprint of regulation so businesses can come here and really succeed, expand the economy, and everybody can flourish. I think that's the goal, is that everybody can flourish.
Let's talk about Jeffrey Epstein. It's everywhere. And I think that you're in a unique position to answer this question. You were one of only 2 Republicans in a subcommittee who voted against releasing the Epstein files. Now, of course, that's something that the president ran on, transparency in the issue. I'd like to ask you why you voted against releasing that when so many MAGA Republicans hung their hats that President Trump would stay true to his word and release the files.
Well, first of all, I want the files released. I bet you couldn't tell what an Epstein file is any more than I can. But that was done as a political stunt and ploy by the Democrats. And I read the motion. The motion was not well crafted. I knew that there were 2 more motions that were actually drafted by lawyers that were coming up. And so I looked at it and I said, look, you didn't even identify what these files ostensibly are. You didn't give a time frame. It didn't meet good legal standards. So we said, I know there's more coming that I can vote for, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put an amendment on here that says we want to know what the Biden administration did over the last 4 years with anything related, any communication related with Jeffrey Epstein. And the Democrats sat mute, quite frankly, because it was a political stunt, and they thought they would get something out of it. And they did. But you know who got something out of it? we did, because I worked with the chairman of the committee, James Comer, talked to the White House, and what we got, Mark, is we issued subpoenas, went to Pam Bondi. We've got stuff coming on with Ghislaine Maxwell, an interview coming. We're going to find out what Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton did relationally to that, plus what the 3 previous attorneys general did with that.
But you need the votes of MAGA Republicans in this state.
Right.
You depend on them. They see you as their guy. What do you say to the MAGA Republicans who feel disenfranchised because they haven't seen the results of this?
Well, it's coming. It's coming, Mark, and that's what I say, because I've talked to the president. It's coming. He wants him out. I've always wanted him out. I've asked for him to come out for years, and if I thought there was going to be something hidden from us, I wouldn't have voted for that anyway. That was a crappy motion, to be frank with you. There are ways to get at this, and the Democrats don't want it. They want to create actually a distraction and attack Donald Trump and others about this. I want to actually find out what's in those records and those documents. So if there's bad people there, and I believe there probably is, then let's go ahead, investigate them, and prosecute them.
We have a limited amount of time. I need to get to ESAs because it's such a contentious issue in this state.
Yeah.
The program is now run up a bill of $1 billion. And $1 million of that, we've reported on it, went to the purchase of Legos. Now, you're in Arizona, and you know that we all have a sense of what's right and what's wrong. Do you think that's fair? And if you don't think it's fair and right, would you do something to amend the ESA program?
Well, Mark, let's actually get apples to apples instead of oranges to oranges. Do you not think that in a traditional public school that they're spending money on Legos and other items like that we might say, hey, there's a problem there? You have over $6 billion kind of stockpiled in the traditional district schools. I would suggest to you that what has happened is if you are reducing the actual overall spend because ESAs are valued at 75% of the traditional district schools. I think that if you say, yeah, they're spending it on Legos, what's wrong with that?
Well, there's nothing wrong with it, but $1 million worth of Legos. Listen.
On how many kids, though?
When I was raising my kids, they all went to public school, and if they were good and they did their homework and they got good grades, I would take them with my wallet and open my wallet. I don't want to pay for someone else's kids to have Legos.
Well, I would suggest to you that by paying taxes, you are, because I'm betting you dollars to donuts. You can go to any number of district schools and you're going to find Legos in their pre-K. You're going to find Duplos in their pre-K. You're going to find Legos in your K. And guess what? You're paying for them and I'm paying for them. And there's a lot more money going to the traditionals than going to ESAs.
We need to continue this conversation another time. I really appreciate your time.
Mike.
Thank you for coming down.
My pleasure.
All right.